Hello everyone, Cool Dude Cobermine here, back with episode 5 of Choose Your Character, and today we will be looking at Dr. Eggman from the Sonic series. A forewarnings, just like my Bandana Waddle Dee episode, this episode is not scripted and I'm just going off of notes, so if I sound a bit more worried, I hope that explains why. Thank you guys for tuning in, and without further ado, let's start the episode. So, in Super Smash Bros. Brawl, Sonic was one of the two first third-party characters to join the roster, with the other being Solid Snake from the Metal Gear Solid series. However, as much as I love Metal Gear Solid, there's no denying that Sonic the Hedgehog was a much greater inclusion due to how iconic he is. He is arguably one of the most iconic video game characters other than Mario, which is why I feel like a Sonic the Hedgehog rep is pretty likely when compared to other third-party companies. And while a character from the series I would much rather like to see in Smash would be Tails, there's no denying that Dr. Eggman is a very iconic villain through not only the Sonic the Hedgehog series, but through video games as a whole. He's essentially Sonic's Bowser. He's just that big of a character that he definitely would warrant a nice place in Smash. On top of that, with all the new villains being added to Smash, such as K. Rool, Ridley, etc., it would only make sense that the next Sonic the Hedgehog rep would be a nice villain rep. Dr. Eggman is easily recognizable and would make for a nice all-star to add to the lineup of Smash. And while I don't necessarily think that he will be DLC, he is a character that I feel like would definitely fit the game due to his goofy nature and personality. So without further ado, let's start talking about what he could bring to Smash. Dr. Eggman's appearance would be his modern design from the more recent Sonic games, rather than his classic design from the original Sonic games. His alternate costumes would be based off of different characters from the Sonic the Hedgehog series, most of them being villains. These alts would consist on palettes based off of Eggman Nega, Chaos, Shadow the Hedgehog, Metal Sonic, and Omega. However, despite the fact that there are only 6 alternate costumes, he has a completely different model based off of classic Eggman, and his name even changes to Dr. Robotnik to reference the fact that that was his name before he became Dr. Eggman. So this is a completely different character model. It's basically a 3D remake of his old sprite from the original games, and then he has an alternate color on that costume where he takes the color scheme of his archenemy Sonic. When you first choose Dr. Eggman and he jumps onto the stage, his entrance would be him walking up to his Eggmobile cart, opening the door, and walking in, closing the door behind him. When I was thinking of a moveset for Dr. Eggman, I was originally not planning on incorporating the Eggmobile into it at all. However, the more I got to thinking about it, that's a big iconic part of his character. He always has the most deadly weapons and machines that he uses against Sonic. Therefore, I feel like it would be safe to say that the most iconic of these vehicles would easily be a nice way to incorporate a unique moveset in Smash. The Eggmobile as a whole incorporates a lot into his moveset, which we will get into as soon as we finish with the aesthetic stuff. Moving on to his stance, for this, when Eggman is not moving in any direction, the Eggmobile just hovers above the ground a bit with Eggman's hands on the steering wheel / controls. He just kind of floats there, nothing too special. His idle animations, the first one consists of him pressing a few buttons on the Eggmobile, but nothing happens. This is, like the description says, nothing happens. It's just kind of a nice touch that happens if you're not doing anything. And then for his second one, he straightens his glasses before returning his hands to the controls. Moving on to his victory screens, the first one is Eggman performs his signature pose while cackling a maniacal laugh. The second one, Eggman sees a level clear sign with Sonic's face from the original Sonic game and spins it to show his face instead. For those of you who don't know, in the original Sonic game, and quite a few of them, there were signs at the end of each level that had Eggman's face on them, and if you touched them, they would spin around to show Sonic's face to show that you have cleared the level. So he's just spinning it back to the how it was before, as a neat little reference. And his third one, it took me a while to come up with, but eventually I decided it was it would be a recreation of Eggman's windscreen from Sonic and Mario at the Olympic Winter Games series. There's multiple of them, but I'll probably just put the one that I find best in the video, so here you can check it out. And his victory theme is the Game Over music from the first Sonic the Hedgehog game, which is kind of, I think that works perfectly, since Ridley, Bowser, and Meta Knight all have kind of darker versions of the main theme of their game. But that's enough of the aesthetic stuff. It's time to move on to the big guns with his moveset. As usual, we'll be starting things off with his jab. Eggman's jab, unlike most of our other characters, only has 2 hits. For the first part of the jab, Eggman swats at the opponent with his left hand, and for the second hit of the jab, he quickly swats at them with the other hand. This jab is only used to rack up damage, and it has barely any launching power at all, so don't expect to be killing anyone using it, or like most jabs. For his dash attack, the Eggmobile encases itself in a metallic coating and just quickly rams forward into foes. The most similar attack I could probably compare this to on the pre-existing roster is Kirby's dash attack, where he encases himself in fire and rams forward. It's very slow in terms of startup, but it does kill you at very low percentages. For his forward tilt, Eggman swings a lead pipe at his foes like a baseball bat right in front of him. This has a sweet spot at the tip of the lead pipe, and when you hit the sweet spot, it works as a kill move. However, if you just hit them with anywhere else on the pipe, it does not do as much damage or have as much launching power. For his up tilt, there's a short concussive blast upwards right above Eggman. The animation would be pretty simple. He would just kind of throw something up in the air, and he would throw a gadget up in the air and it would explode, something along those lines, but this is just to rack up damage. It does not have very much launching power. I couldn't really think of anything else for a good idea for an up tilt, so I apologize. His down tilt, the Eggman crouches into it and ducks, and he just kind of barely nudges himself forward slightly, bumping into any opponents that he hits on the way. It barely does any damage, but it has such low knockback that it can combo into itself at lower percentages. Now moving on to his smash attacks. For his forward smash, Eggman fires multiple rockets at the ground right in front of him. This acts kind of like Snake's forward smash. It has about the same range. The rockets do go a little further though before hitting the ground, except it's not nearly as long as something like the Belmont's forward smash. It probably has range equivalent to Shulk's forward smash. It kills very early, just like Snake's forward smash, but it does have more startup lag, so it's risky but rewarding. For his down smash, Eggman uses the Egg Press attack, creating shockwaves on either side of him. This is a pretty basic down smash. It has quite a bit of startup lag, but it launches shockwaves on either side, meaning it hits both sides at the same time, and it launches at an angle to where you can kill your opponent pretty early. So similar to his forward smash, you'd only want to use it when you know you can land it, but if you manage to hit it, you're good. And finally, his up smash, excuse me, sorry. For Eggman's up smash, he has both of the arms on the Eggmobile clapped together directly above him, similar to Donkey Kong's up smash. The move functions almost exactly the same too. You're really only going to be able to hit an opponent with it if they're right. You're only going to be able to hit opponents with it if they're right above you. You can hit them, but it'll be more difficult. It kills pretty early, but other than that, it's pretty basic. Finishing off his smash attacks now, we're moving on to his aerials, and surprisingly enough, a lot of Eggman's aerials are pretty basic. His neutral air has the Eggmobile's glider wings expand out, hitting both sides of Eggman. This does not hit opponents above or below him, only on either side of him. But other than that, it does barely any knockback, and freaking just, it flinches them. But that's about it. No knockback, though. And from that's when the aerials start getting pretty interesting. And opposed to having multiple different attacks for each direction, like every other character in the cast, all of Eggman's directional aerials are him just blasting flames beneath him and flying quickly in whichever direction you input. Meaning if you use your up air, he will shoot upward, he will ram upward a bit. If you use your forward air, he will use his jets to ram forward a bit. Down air, you ram downward, and back air, you ram backward. All of these moves do the same amount of damage and knockback, but they actually come in handy for a later move in his arsenal, which we will get to when we discuss his special moves. Alright, and moving on from the aerials, since that didn't take us too long, we have our grab animations, which I couldn't think of too much, so these are also pretty basic. For his grab animation, Eggman has the claws from the Eggmobile, the hands, extend out in front of him and grab a foe. His pummel has Eggman making the Eggmobile punch the opponent with the other hand. And all throws are just very strong tosses in whichever direction you input. He does not have a combo throw, because he is a more one-hit, deal a lot of damage character. But in compensation, both up throw and back throw are kill throws. Alright, and with that done, we are moving into his special moves. Now, this is where Eggman really starts being a more complex character than it may seem at first from the rest of his moveset. Special, we have Missile Barrage. When you first press this button, Eggman starts charging missiles from a missile rack in the back of the Eggmobile. As soon as you let go of this move, the missiles that you have collected so far shoot. So the longer you charge up, the more missiles he fires straight forward, and each missile has decent knockback and deals pretty decent explosive damage. Another move I could probably compare this to would be Ridley in his neutral special, where he shoots the fireballs directly forward. However, instead of the missiles being shot directly forward, they're shot in an upward arc, so they go up and come back down. But other than that, it's pretty basic. It's a good projectile, and it's very good at edge guarding. But yeah. Now his side special is Plasma Beam. For this attack, Eggman fires a green electrical beam forwards, and it interacts with his down special, which we will get into in a bit. But for now, all you need to know is that if this beam hits the opponent, they will just take multiple electric damage effects, kind of like Zero Suit Samus's side special, the Plasma Whip. It does about the same damage, however, this one cannot be used for a recovery move. It's not really meant for a damage-dealing move, it's more created just to interact with his down special, which we will get into soon. For his recovery special, it is Boost. And this special move gives Eggman free flight he can fly anywhere he wants in whichever direction he wants for a limited amount of time until he runs out of fuel or touches the ground. He can attack at any time during this move, and he can continue flying until he touches the ground. But once he runs out of fuel, which takes about 5 to 10 seconds, I didn't really decide on a concrete time period, he will have to, if he's out of fuel in the air, he will just fall down and go into free fall. Also, if he moves slower during this boost state, so you can still edge guard him despite his very good recovery. A good thing to compare this to would be, imagine if he had Rob's recovery move, but he could move in whichever direction he wanted. And with that, we are moving on to what I think is the most complex move in his moveset, which is his down special, the Wrecking Ball. Now, the Wrecking Ball is arguably Dr. Eggman's most iconic weapon. It is the weapon he used in Sonic 1 when fighting Sonic. It was this big, it's self-explanatory. It was a wrecking ball attached by a chain to the Eggmobile, and Eggman swung it by gaining momentum. Now, when you first input this move, the wrecking ball spawns directly in front of Eggman. It does not do anything until you hit it with the side special, the Plasma Beam. Once you hit it with the Plasma Beam, it attaches to Eggman, with the Plasma Beam acting as the cord between them. Eggman swings the ball beneath him as he moves, and it uses momentum to determine how fast it goes and how much damage it does. The faster you are moving determines how fast the wrecking ball is moving, and the faster the wrecking ball is moving, the more damage it does. Eggman cannot use any other attacks while he's other than his up special and aerials when he is using the wrecking ball. However, you can cancel the wrecking ball at any time by pressing down special again to make it disappear until you use it again. So basically, imagine you can summon this wrecking ball, and then you fire your chain at it, and then you go off stage and use your boost ability, and then you just kind of fly around swinging the wrecking ball around to block their recovery. It would definitely take a lot of practice, but once you figured out the best strategies to use this attack for, you could definitely put a dent in your opponent with it. So I think it's a nice attack that perfectly summarizes his appearance in the first Sonic game. And finally, for his final smash, it is the Death Egg Laser. The design of the Death Egg takes after its appearance in Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Knuckles, and what it does is, when you input the final smash, Eggman flies into the background, and he just fires this massive beam from the Death Egg at the screen. I guess it's easily compared to Samus's final smash, where she goes into the background and fires with her power suit, except it's just a giant, massive spaceship this time. As per usual, I'm not going to go into too much detail with the final smash because you won't be seeing it in a competitive setting. But I think you can get the gist of what it would go. Also, I want to apologize if the audio has been kind of bad today. It got distorted, and I had to re-record this whole thing, so I don't have as much motivation to do so. So I'm really sorry if the audio is either too quiet at times or too loud at others. I'm sorry. Anyways, moving on. Eggman's stage would be the Casino Zone from Sonic 1. One sec. In terms of what it would look like, I think that Super Smash Flash 2 would be a good example to how this beautiful area could be adapted into Smash. You would have the big casino sign in the background and everything, and you could see all the lights in the city, kind of like the Stage 4 side from Earthbound that's already in Smash. It would just be a very beautiful stage overall. And finally, ending things off with the music that would come with him, his main remix would be a remix of the song Versus Eggman from Sonic Forces. Other songs he would come with would include Casino Zone theme. and potentially a remix of the Fist Bump song from Sonic Forces, except perhaps an instrumental. And with that, we've wrapped up Eggman's moveset. As I stated earlier, I want to apologize if the audio is kind of all over the place in this video. Hopefully next time it'll be better, but we'll see. Usually I know what character we're doing next after today. However, this time, I think I'm just going to draw from the list of characters. I think I've just finally decided on a schedule for these. I'm going to try to get them out every other week. And every 10 episodes, we'll have a special, which you'll find out once we reach episode 11. But thank you guys for tuning in. It means a lot to me that you guys come to check out my stuff. I want to thank my friend, as usual, Lennox Sands, for helping me out with the thumbnail work. He's a great guy. Check him out on Twitter. And yeah, just thank you guys for coming to my channel and watching this video, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.